Hello everyone, welcome to episode 9 of Football Manager 2020. It's starting to get awful winter here and we're getting early snow squalls, so what better time to take a trip to South Africa and manage some football. Hopefully with better luck than we had last time. The board's still fairly happy with my performance, but I'm starting to chalk up some stuff they're disappointed by. Fortunately, other than the Orlando Pirates match, we haven't actually lost anything. We just aren't winning as much as I'd like. But hopefully I can turn that around today. Although the rather brutal schedule we're getting for the next session and a half of recording could make that challenging. I should be getting back some key players that were out on suspension though, so that'll be good. And if we get through this 3-match stretch, we're into a fairly reasonable rest of December. Like, we're playing a lot of matches, but it's not going to be dangerously brutal the way it is right now. Yeah, I'm not surprised my Lulu's lacking in match fitness. I never use him anymore. He was a bit player about 2 years ago, but there hasn't been a hole for him. Okay, this is an exciting thing I hadn't realized was coming up. We get our draw for the World Cup. Unfortunately, this will take a little while because there are a lot of people in the World Cup. And there's not much interesting commentary until I see where Canada gets drawn. I could have just hit draw all teams and done it all at once, but where's the fun in that? There's a lot of teams I wouldn't have minded facing already drawn. Now, I don't think we're going to do that well in the World Cup because, unfortunately, the Canadian team here hasn't had the explosion it's had in real life where it's actually become quite a powerful footballing nation. And even then, we didn't do very well at the last World Cup, so if I can get out of the group stage, I'm going to be very happy, but I'm not going to be crushed if I don't. We still haven't been drawn. I've seen some dangerous sides going up, though. Oh, here we go. We've got Wales and Iran, so we've actually got a not terrible chance. Now's the time when I'll be able to sit down and actually look at how things are shaking out for that group. Oh, well, they're not going to give me... Oh, no, that's... Here we go, world ranking. We're 52nd, so I have pulled us up, but nowhere near the gains that real Canada has had. And that's annoying. It doesn't stay scrolled down when I reload the scene. Iran's 50th, so they're better than us, but beatable. And Wales is 31st. Oof, so we are the worst country in the league, in the group still. It's not the toughest group in the world, but realistically, we're not in with much of a chance at the World Cup. But that's okay. I knew that coming in. That's a problem for later anyway. Mithanyane's injured, so he's out for 6 to 7 weeks. That's a bit of a problem. I bring him in occasionally. I was probably going to use him during the 3-match run we've got coming up, just out of necessity. He would have at least been coming off the bench, but it's not really going to be an option now. You want to arrange some friendlies. We're bidding on Malaba. Nothing that significant going on there, probably. Other people are also bidding on him, so I don't think we're going to get him. Oh, IXCT have sold Malango. You wouldn't know him. He left the team well before I started this series, but it means that we get paid for him having played for Sundowns, so that's significant. It's only $35,000, but with the way we're bleeding money, even that's significant. I'm not sure what input they want me to give on Dlamini's form. He only played 5 minutes. I don't have an opinion on his form here. I'm going to tell him to improve, because clearly they're not too impressed with him, or he wouldn't have been coming off the bench. What's CB? Oh, CB's grouchy because he's been out of the team lately. There's not much I can do about that. I just have better options. See if Margeman can settle it. Margeman settled it. Perfect. Probably would have been nice to talk to him myself just to get that little morale boost, but I'm actually using Margeman, so yeah, like now we can bring Foster back into the team, which is a good thing. Ironically, it looks like we're actually going to play Melula after I was saying we never play him. But Mirosavljevic's pretty tired, so we're going to have to bite the bullet, I think. Other than that, it's pretty much all expected changes. Oops. I'm back on Canada. I could have sworn I set it to be Amazulu again, but yeah, Melula is not very good in that position, so I'm not ecstatic having him go in. But I'd rather have a guy that's not fantastic in a position than someone that's absolutely exhausted, especially in a defensive position. So hopefully the guys around him can pick up the slack. We are the favorites in this match. Oh, I got a press conference about the World Cup draw. Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, I'm 52nd in the world. Any place is gonna be tough. Yeah, I would like some friendlies against them. Wales are definitely the toughest team we're facing. Anytime they ask me about a player, I'm always going to say they're a great asset to the team. Because even if I never end up using them, it keeps them happy if I do use them. So it's better to just give them that ego boost. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Apparently I have too many supporting players in. Is there anyone I can... Well, I can make Mabule an attacker. That'll take some of the strain off. Golden arrows are probably the tougher match we're going to have. Actually, no, I think, if I remember, I checked both teams last time, and Super Sport was actually the tougher squad we're playing, but these are both decently challenging matches. Why are we bidding for Hernandez? We're not supposed to go for a 32-year-old. This is what happens when I let the board make decisions. They give me directions, then don't follow them themselves. Just looking ahead a bit while the... Oh, never mind, it stopped loading. He seems good enough to go for it, even though he's Italian. I mean, potential 5-star ability. You can see why I'm fairly confident going up against Super Sport. They're on a better run of form than us, and we are going away. But they're not doing fantastic. I mean, they can't sell tickets. They've only got 7,000 out of a 28-seat stadium, 29,000-seat stadium. Weather conditions are going to be good. Pitch is only okay, so that's not ideal. They've got some pretty major injury issues here, with 4 out for sure and 1 person doubtful. That's what my squad usually looks like this time of year. We've definitely been doing about the best we could. No changes back. I was hoping that we might be able to get Melula out of there. Let me just check who else can play that position. Mirasavic, yeah, he still needs rest. And Cinnamella. Let me just see how Cinnamella looks in there. Oof, he's even worse. Alright, we're starting Melula. I don't love it. And we're just going to hopefully sub in Mirasavic. Hopefully no damage is done. We can sub in Mirasavic, because we tend to slack off towards the end. So hopefully I'm going to bring in the stronger player then, but I need to rest him. I'm going to need him fit for the other 2 matches. And so I just sometimes have to take the hit. It's a wide pitch, so our wing play should work out pretty well from there. This is the sort of pitch Mabula. Oh god damn it! I can't remember his name. It is Mubele. Mubele. This is the sort of what he's trying to say is this is the sort of conditions Mabele really likes. So hopefully he can get some goals in from out wide. Super Sport aren't making great decisions early. That pass back should not have come anywhere near a situation where my player was the only person in the area. But we're taking unwise goal shots from a long distance out. And we're scored on by Desmond Brown. This drops us to 8th position, putting us right on the cusp of failing to meet our requirements of staying in the top half of the league. It's early, we can pull this back, but December tends to be a rough month for us because that's where our lack of squad depth and busy schedule really starts to catch up with us. We get January largely off, so everyone gets a chance to recover, but this is clutch time for us. It's usually where the team's exhausted, and this year it is a brutal set schedule. That mistake might save us right there, but we shot from way too far back. It was one-on-one versus the goaltender. That needed to be better. I'm discovering that this season, while I have more consistency in the team, I don't have the explosive finishing power that I've had the previous years. Like, we've never had good strikers, but we've usually been able to just bully their goaltender and win matches by sheer volume of shots. And this year, that is very much not the case. Fortunately, with the board's expectations, I'm pretty okay with that. I mean, it's unfortunate that we can't just go out and win every match except against like 2 or 3 teams, but given how easy my requirements for the league were with just stay in the top half, if I had that sort of team, this would be a pretty dull season unless I got absolutely pummeled with injuries. So for Mashir, actually having a challenge for the playthrough, it's more fun to have a team that's appropriately scaled to middle of the pack. Alright, this is the sort of attack I've been wanting. Just slightly high, but that was a good strike. And apparently they got a hand on it because we've got a corner off of it. I thought that was just straight up goal kick there, but apparently not. But we got an unfortunate offside. In spite of that one goal, we've been like, and the highlights have been showing them a lot, but looking at the actual stats during the moments when we get to just the stats screen, it seems like we are actually the better team here. So it looks like the big hindrance is the defense, which I knew was going to be bad when I put Melula in there, but I didn't really have a good alternative. There was no way I could make Matenjwa work all 3 games. That just wasn't happening. We're starting to take control of this match, and they're only up by 1. So I still think there's a decent chance for us to get a result out of here. Assuming Sanago can make a decision, which apparently he could not. I'm going to have to take a real look at the contracts of my assistant coaches when they come up at the end of the season. I'm sure as hell not firing people in the middle of the year and trying to replace them. But the drag on my decisiveness is really starting to get on my nerves. So it would be nice if I can find someone to train that out of them. Because honestly, a lot of times when we lose games, it's just because the other team is more decisive than us. Like, they're not making good moves, but they're making them quickly and catching us off guard, whereas we're standing around with our thumb up our ass trying to figure out what to do when we get the ball. We're starting to draw a lot of corners, which I really appreciate. And they're not positioning themselves well. Although there, Sanaga just ran so far on that they were able to poach that one anyway. But still, this is a clumsy attack. Like, that was ugly football. They had us on the back foot, but they weren't able to do anything with it. And their indecisiveness is striking again. I mean, there's not great openings, but it feels like they're just passing for the sake of passing sometimes. This is what I like to see. Williams crossing. There we go. Equalized with a goal by Makwakwina. That is the Amazulu way. Don't really have a great striker, but just pummel their goal. So this puts us back up into 6 with a comfortable buffer on the zone where the board starts questioning my value. And if we keep playing the way we've been playing since about 15 minutes into this match, we should be able to get a second one. They're busily trying to destabilize us, but they're not really showing a lot of results for it. And, if they want to waste a lot of time, I'm alright with going to the half, yelling at the guys a bit for letting 2 goals in. Although that's kind of on me once again. That was right through the weak spot in the defense that I knew was there, but I felt like I had to open up. This has been an interesting season as well. A lot of the teams that previously didn't really seem like much of a threat, such as Supersport here, this year are looking much better, and some of the teams that I've come to rely on as being the tougher squads are well down the table this year. And we're deep enough into the season now that it's not fluky anymore. It's looking like a lot of teams had some pretty major moves during the off season. I think we made him mad. Fortunately, the half's almost done and we get a good reset. I still feel like this is a winnable game for us. I think some of the issue too is 7 years in, they're getting pretty familiar with the tactics we use with this team. But I don't really have the sort of team that I can change them up. I suppose I could play around during January, try to come up with some new tactic, but I feel like we're just not versatile enough. There we go, equalized 4 minutes into the second half. McQuaquina again on that. This would be a good match to be attending. Unfortunately, no one is. So a whole lot of fans of Supersport are going to be very disappointed when they find out how good this was and they stayed home. I don't know how that got through us, but we were able to close it off in the end. And we're actually positioned for the counterattack for once. Looks like it's going to be a penalty from there. Or not a penalty, a free kick from there. Not a very interesting one, given that we didn't get a highlight from it. I would have liked to see a card there. I felt like that was a pretty cut and dried chance for us. It's not the sort of thing I can appeal, though. And now we're actually making some progress through their lines. They're defending well, but we're pressuring them. That was a horrible shot. This ref doesn't seem to like yellows. No one's gotten one in this match. That would be interesting to see a highlight from that. Looked like a pretty dangerous attempt. I'm not sure how that didn't go in. The Glover must have just got a hand on it and knocked it aside. Because the circle's positioned center body, so if he was stretched out diving for it, he could have reached pretty far past where the circle actually displays. Alright. Right when we hurt one of their players. Let's see who we want to change out. Most people are playing pretty well, except of course for the healthiest or for the freshest guy. But I think I have to take Safama off for Shobeni. He's just so bad in this game. I need to get a fresh player in. Unfortunately, Chauvin is not very good at this position at all. But it was either him or Margeman, or not Margeman, Mirosavljevic, and I probably still want to put Mirosavljevic in for Melula at some point. So I think this is the best I can do with the players I have available to me today. Margeman's getting really tired, so he's a definite option to sub next. I know I said I wanted to shore up my defense, but it really... Oh, there we go. Margeman got us that go-ahead goal, so I might not need to worry about it. I was going to say I'd kind of like to improve the attacking power we have, but we've taken the lead, so now it's back to probably wanting to shore up my defenses. I'll take a look here in a second because I got a couple of options. I could get Margeman off because he's getting so tired. But that's going to be Mirosavljevic going in for him for sure, and he's having the best game of... Well, not the best as Makwakwina, but he's playing very well. Foster's playing the worst, but he's pretty fresh. Snaga's not playing great and is tired. I think it should be Cinnamella going in for him, though. And I don't love that, so I might let Sinaga stay out a little longer. I think I'm going to bring in Motong for Foster. We're making a hell of an exciting match. Not a whole lot that could have been done about that. I am going ahead with that change. Motong's not great in that position. We're really starting to show the lack of depth in our team now when we're getting tired, but towards the end of the half, or half of the season, but it is what it is. We're not losing the game, and just having fresh legs on the pitch is important. I'll see how things look at 80 when I make my final substitution. I'm starting to feel like we're probably not going to actually be able to win this. We're probably going to have to settle for a draw. Although that was a pretty good chance. And it drew us a corner. I mean, we're still looking good. We're just... Sword, hey. We've been in the right place more than they have, though. And we're drawing a ton of corners. But now they're in the right place instead of us. And it's challenging Motong, who's not one of our better players out there. Time for the last change. Actually slipped by a little bit. Of course, the two guys who are playing the worst are the freshest. Margeman's exhausted. I need to get him off there. I didn't want to put Mirosavic into this role, but Margman is absolutely exhausted. So this entire line is going to be pretty weak. Although Mirosavic is 3 stars there, he's just not comfortable in that position. But I just need to try to keep some freshness in Margman's legs. We're probably not going to have him for the next match just because of this, but hopefully I can get him back for the third one. That moment of hesitation might have just killed that counterattack. That was a perfect counterattack, and they hesitated. Oof, that was bad from their goaltender. Boulet's doing his thing. Oh, and Tao just stole that match for us in the dying moments. There's probably like 5 minutes total left. They had that injury, so I'm thinking probably 4 minutes stoppage time. We shouldn't lose this match now. I can see them stealing another goal because they're a high-scoring team this year. But we shouldn't be able to lose anymore. Yeah, we've got 6 minutes of stoppage time. That's suboptimal when our team's already tired. I just wanted this match to be over. But they made a very bad choice getting that ball out to Williams. We've got some poor players in there right now, but it looks like we're keeping the pressure up, which is taking a lot of the stress off those poor players. We're actually almost scored a second. It's almost our turn to be the disappointing 2 goals in like 3 minutes thing. But that offside from Mabule is going to be rough. Although nothing's really happened. They missed their last chance to actually score, so we won this one. It was a rough match, but we won it in the end. The guys showed real grit. I'm very happy with the performance here. This is the kind of gutsy performance I haven't seen from them yet this season. We finally beat their goaltender for the first time in 180 consecutive minutes. Every other stat is super sport related, so nothing interesting going on with our team. But we did beat a goaltender that's been having a good run. Tell the guys they did awesome. I wish I could reward them, but schedule's not allowing that at the moment. Feels pretty good to be up in 5th, 3 points off of 2nd. If we can win this next match, we're going to be really well positioned. The halftime talk paid off well for them. I thought he just told them they were doing well, so I'm a little surprised that was enough, but sometimes a little encouragement's all you need. Oh look, Gilchrist is in a horrible mood because I never use him. What a shock. Definitely think I'm getting rid of Gilchrist in the next transfer window. I don't see him sticking around. We need the money. And now you can see we're subbing pretty much everyone except for Foster, where we don't have options because of the short turnaround. This is actually closer to our first team that we're bringing in now. I've been doing pretty well with rotating the squad, so I can get a bunch of players I'm happy to see pretty much every game. Like even here, we've got a decent looking squad. We've got Nedlovo, obviously. We've got Eriksson in, who's great. We've got Walker in, who's been doing really well. Motung's been solid there, even though like he doesn't have great stats in that position. No one really does. The only real weak spot we've got is Sefema here, or Senamela here, who's only 2 stars. But to be running this tight of a turnaround and only have one player that's like actually disappointing for the position they're in feels pretty good, especially because we're really favored against Golden Arrows. So this is a chance to play a little bit of weaker team. And I'm not. Oh, wow, look who it is. Luke Fleur's talking about how important this match is. Too bad you're not playing it, buddy. But no, I'm not still bitter about that. To be fair, it wasn't really Fleur's fault. I can't blame him for chasing the money. They were paying such ridiculous amounts that of course he went. Everyone played good against Super Sport. That was nice. Pretty spread out, although we were concentrated up the right, which is unfortunate because our left wing was actually where I was hoping to get stuff happening. Golden Arrows were the worst team in the 0-0 draw against Chippa. Yeah, this should be a pretty easy win for us. Telling them to get stuck in, that could be a mistake. I want us to really try, but we're a rough team. Getting stuck in could draw us a ton of penalties and could get some people suspended. Oh, great. Kay's hurt. Although I think he's due back by the next time I have a Canadian match. So, hopefully that's not an issue. Because with Baron taking Davies away from me, I kind of need Kay in. We got a little bit of money paid out for making the semifinals in the Knockout Cup. Oh, look. Sundowns won that. Yeah, Pirates sucked against us. Apparently, when we got knocked out against Real Kings, that was the best match of that tournament, so that's nice. Not really that desperate to get a hold of that goaltender. Okay, we're hosting. We're at home. Sellout, that's nice. Our pitch is just okay. It's wet. That's going to be an issue. We're playing on a bad pitch with poor conditions, but no winds. Nice temperature. This is definitely a winnable match for us. And if we do, that puts us in second or third place, depending on how the numbers work out against Sundowns. I think Sundowns hold on to second. Adam's finally recovered enough to come back in. That's nice. See. Yeah, I like all these changes. They really do tend to pick the best things for us if you just let it go and you have good coaching staff. Like, you need to pay attention to your coaching staff, but they tend to make the best decisions for the team, so a lot of times you can listen to it and just tweak it once in a while. Like, here, we're now worse than the team we were practicing with. We've got Siasi in, who's not nearly as good. And we've got Adam in, who's not as good as Foster. But we're getting people rested against a weak team, and they'll be able to come back for the third match. Well, we train closer to the first team. So this should work out really well for us. If we keep playing the way we were last match, we're just going to bully the hell out of these guys. This is probably the weakest team I've fielded for a while. But, I mean, it's Golden Arrows who have been playing like dog shit. So, that's not really an issue. You can see they're all trying to stay back fairly defensively. Almost no one's getting up into an attacking position. They're exclusively going to try to counterattack us, which is one of our vulnerabilities. But if our passing's on point today, we should be alright. Like, even there, where they set up to try to force a counterattack, we were able to immediately get the ball back. That was ambitious from Motong. I think Saltio was playing him as a fullback last match, so he's trying to show me that he deserves to be up at the front there. But I know he's better as a winger. But sometimes I just need a fullback. And the fact that I'm not playing Motong much is showing in some of those mistakes he's making. Like, that cross was almost good, but not quite. And I know that's exclusively just because he's tired. But Makwakwana comes through for his 20th goal of the season. I feel like I don't have good strikers, but we're putting up numbers. And now a lot of that is because we've been playing these bad teams in Africa. So we're getting inflated numbers versus our position in the Premiership. But 20 goals in any competition or in any season is good. We've got an official who's willing to hand out yellow cards here. So my decision to tell them to get stuck in might come back to bite me in the ass. I might draw some penalty or some suspensions here that I'd really rather not have. Adam's being particularly timid, but it's been a little while since he's been in. He might have to get his head back into the game. Motong's been playing well, though. He's set up a number of good crosses for us. I'm starting to think if I wasn't so thin at right back, I might get rid of Adam because I'm really not impressed with how he's playing, but I can't have Foster as the only person capable of playing that position. I mean, I know there's Motong, but he's really not good at it. And he is effective as a winger, so I don't really want him back in the right back position. I want him up on the wing. We're just bullying these poor guys. We should be up by more than one by now, but they're parking the bus pretty effectively. And we come back to another corner. I was just going to say that looked like one of the most dangerous moments, but we're fully back on the attack again already before I even had a chance to formulate my thought. We're still seeing the effect of Motong being out of the team a lot, but it's shown. We hurt Satebi. This is why I was apprehensive about telling them to get stuck in, because we do tend to be a team that tackles hard and injures people. I mean, that's 2 matches in 3 days and 2 injuries. Both to them. Hopefully we can get a second goal fairly early in this half. Get me a comfortable 2-goal cushion. I say comfortable 2-goal cushion like I haven't lost 2 matches that I was leading, or not lost, but drawn 2 matches that I was leading by 2 into the last 5 minutes of the match already this season. Seems to be the year of comebacks. But I really don't see these guys stealing 2 in the last 5 minutes. So if I can get a second goal, I think we've comfortably locked this one down. This might be one of our classic matches where we hammered our goal, but somehow miraculously learn how to shoot and end up eking out a 1-0 victory that should have been 3 or 4, but we just forget how to finish shots. You can see why I was comfortable going with a fairly weak defensive line here, though. Like, they haven't really threatened our goal at all, so the fact that I've got bad defenders in isn't really a big deal, and it gets those guys some minutes. It gets my good defenders some rest. Walker's been largely invisible today. That's a little surprising. When I get set for my changeover, I'm gonna have to, or my first substitution, I'm gonna have to look at how he's been doing, because now he's got the ball, but I really haven't noticed him all game. It's been mostly Motong making stuff happen. That's surprising because Walker's the better winger. That was a really uninspired corner. This is the sort of counterattack that can be dangerous. But they were out super wide and against my better defenders. So it's going to be a corner, but at this point I can crowd the box with a whole bunch of people. Walker is playing decent, actually. Only person who's not impressive is Eriksson, who of course has the best stats of everyone I've got out there. He's also decently tired. I think it's a pretty simple sub Eriksson for Nick Selly here. Nick Selly is weak, but I don't have a good substitute on the bench for him. We're playing a bad team, and we're running a tight schedule. I just got to get the youth in there just to keep my more quality players rested. So yeah, this is as good as we're going to be. Just 1.5 star. Real downgrade on that position. But what are you going to do? Eriksson was playing like garbage, and he needs the minutes. I'm surprised they've been drawing the majority of the penalties here. As they draw another one. They must be getting frustrated. I don't want to rotate anyone green, although Domini could probably use it, but I don't want to make that line worse. I think it's Sefema here. See how Melula does in that position. He's marginally better than Sefema, and really it's just about getting the both of them some practice. Oh, I had the wrong line. This is a change I probably didn't actually want to make. We made this line fairly bad, but Melula is better than Nick Selly anyway, so. That's right, Lamini's playing up here. He usually plays back here, so. That's why I was confused. I guess I'm probably subbing Lamini for the next sub. I'm not too worried about having a pretty weak line there. We've been dominating so much in this match that I don't think it's going to hurt me to have weaker players in. In fact, that's probably why those guys weren't having a great game. They just haven't been called on to do anything all match. Doesn't matter how good your form is, you're not very impressive when you're standing around just watching the ball be passed by people further up the field. Like, this is really all they do is just transitions up on the occasion that it gets down to pitch past them. Usually because a goaltender's going route one like that. Here we go. Now Walker's gotten himself into the play. He made a bad shot, but he immediately recovered from it. And we got the second goal buffer off Dlamini. Paid off to keep him in. I don't see Golden Arrows scoring a comeback. Especially because I don't have the number of subs left to just absolutely decimate my defensive line the way I have the other times. And that, if anything, I'd make my defensive line stronger with substitutions right now. Everyone's playing good, although they're getting kind of complacent. Yeah, this is easy to get Dlamini out of here and put someone rested in. It's going to be Traore. He needs a little bit more match sharpness than Matenjwa, and he's better rested. He's also drastically worse in this role because he's a fairly pure striker. Like, the only thing he can really feel comfortable with back here is acting as a shadow striker, where he's really not impressive. But I'm not trying to get a third here. I just want to hold on to the two I have. And hopefully have Dlamini rested enough that he can come off the bench for probably Tau in the next match if he needs to. Oh, and they stole one back with an absolutely outrageously long distance goal. Guess it wasn't as long distance as it looked at first. That was still like just a 1-2 in. They've had 2 shots on target all match. Or on goal, not even on target. This is why I wanted the buffer earlier, because we're still sitting in a pretty nice place. And Walker immediately restores it. Melulo gave him the assist on that. Nice. I wasn't expecting much from him. He was mostly just there to keep the number of green shirts on the field up. Four minutes of stoppage time. I'm not sure where we ran up that much time. Oh wait, I guess they did have the injury too. I already forgot about that. That's where the time came from. Traore almost got one. That would be a time where it's worth looking at the highlights, just because that was such a messy play right there. But I'm trying to stay out of replays for this playthrough because it's probably not the best watching to watch me go back and watch the 3D highlights of what happened, just to see what like some of these misses were. And so drew a corner to try to close out the match here. Good looking strike there. If we can just keep bullying them for the last 30 seconds or so, it's going to be glorious. Walker's shown himself towards the end of this match. He probably was playing bad for the first half, and just by the time I looked, he had started to redeem himself. Anyway, we closed that match out with a comfortable 2-goal lead. Ndlovu made his 25th appearance for Amazulu. That was probably all this season. I think I brought him in the off-season. Motong made his 50th. Ah, hey, second goaltender on a run that we've beat. This time Ofori, who had gone 234 consecutive minutes without conceding. And we've moved into third, so my prediction was right. We're about where I want to be in the table now. I'd like to take second. Ideally, I'd first so to play. Pirates are having a season. Assuming they can hold things together, like yeah. Here's where our aggressive play style becomes an issue. People are theorizing in the news that I was deliberately trying to hurt them. That's been an issue with us for a while. They're very aggressive tacklers. Like, it was kind of uncomfortable telling them to get stuck in there because I thought something like that would happen. But somehow, Walker ended up actually being our player of the match, despite not impressing me at all for the first half, so that's nice to see. But with that said, we're just going to take a quick look at this week's or at the schedule coming up for next time. Close her out. We've got Kaiser Chiefs coming up in another 2 days. Tough team. They're slightly below us now, but they're pretty good. This could be a tough match for us. I wouldn't be shocked if we lose here. I'm pretty okay with that. We're gotten to a position now where, like, if we lose that, I can immediately rebound with the match against Tux and Polokwane City here to close out the year. So we should be finishing things off right where I want to be. But we got Kaiser Chiefs, and then we got Tux, who have, well, you can see how their season has gone. This is where I started playing, so they've been on the rise as long as I've been running this save, but they're still not a huge threat. They're currently last place in the league, so that wouldn't be easy. So the real question is just how do we get through Kaiser Chiefs next week? But that's an issue for then. For now, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a good day.